At the time when I made the decision to move from Japan to the US is with the idea of helping people at the shop floor mainly, but through that the company can streamline its operations by having empowered people, eliminating waste, and be motivated in what they do. The result is that lots of overhead, the management, staff people, all the way through the top management can do much less than what they do. In fact, I've seen all the varieties of chaos, if I may call it. For the last 40 years, I practiced those ideas. Maybe less so in the last 10 years because I'm more retired, but still I work. The idea is fairly simple, but the practice requires some discipline, understanding, vision, leadership, the idea of empowerment, and have people to have the ownership. The change requires the habitual pattern that we developed over time, traditional mindset, and the silo mindset. And that has to be broken. And it's not easy because it's a habitual pattern, but that I thought I can do and should do, mainly because people can suffer by not being able to see what they can. And the quote that I got in the book called In Search of Excellence in 1981 or so is about the interview of Tom Peters talking with the guy in General Motors. And this guy was saying that in the last 15 years, I worked at GM, but during that time, nobody asked me for any suggestion, not once. When I read that line in the book, that hit me and decided so that I can move from Japan to the US to help transform the company for more empowered people, having fun in the process, be creative, and reduce the overhead. People have to change the way they do, and people have to go through the blockage in the organization, mental blockage, but also the bureaucratic paperwork, silo syndrome, all of that. And I wrote books. They sold well. I did the videos that sold well too, the bestseller at the Society of Manufacturing Engineers. The third book is Results from the Heart, and that had some attention, except the heart was not so much in business in 2002 when I published the book. Even with the foreword by the Dalai Lama, it didn't work well. So I felt sorry and felt bad asking the Dalai Lama to give me a foreword. And he agreed that he did, and I appreciate his agreeing to the point of let's use the brain, but listen to the heart and live with the mission. That's the main message. Also relating to my awakening experience, to say let's be sincere and truthful in whatever we do. As it turned out, interestingly, maybe I did have this thought before, that my interest in Zen had so much to do with this thinking. And this is a part a bit difficult to explain, but to say it simply, organization can change. My 40 years of experience can produce lots of benefit, and people know about the lean manufacturing or TQM, continuous improvement, PDCA, all that stuff. And I traveled around the world, almost 40 countries. I didn't count all the detail, but about 40 countries. I flied around and helped the company to transform. In the meantime, Zen literature was quite interesting. As much as there's bureaucracy to break, to help the company to streamline the process, lift up the overburdening overhead, and let people to be more productive in what they do, the same thing happens in each individual. And I use the word for the company transformation, in terms of the empowering people, the idea of a mini company, self-managing, more power, more tools. They can do a lot as a general manager of what they can to help the customers by having a KPI, project list, PDCA, Plan Do Check Act, continuously improving, even to the point of writing an annual report, which many people did and shared in the, what do they call that one? Open day, many of them call, that the company can share, visit with each other, and to show and tell story of the mini company, how they perform. The same idea applies in each individual. It's not difficult to understand, but because the organization consists of individuals, and each individual has their mini companies, not the mini company name, but I call it the mini-me. So in the organization from the top, there's mini company or mini companies and all of that, connecting with each other as a network. The same thing happens in each individual. Mini-me's, each mini-me may be representing different part. It could be about the relationship or hobby or work or health or finance situation or spiritual pursuit. There are a bunch of profiles that you have, or you can call identities, that we have those possibilities. And each of them, like a relationship, may have a partner relationship, family relationship, friend relationship. Health may be broken down to the, the nerve system or the, what do you call that one? Eating process, stomach and the intestine, that system, or hormone. So overall, the bunch of mini-me's and to the level of the cells, each cell. So the idea of transformation is to empower the cells instead of the shop floor. This is all the cells. Because heart and lung and kidney and all of those are connected to each other, the nerve system, they work together as if they're the customer and suppliers, and it's a decentralized control instead of the top-down management from the brain. So brain is less burdensome if you can do it, as much as the same situation in the company's case. The people at the top or middle may have a stomach ache because of the burdens, but if people can, and in this case, the body cells can function as they can, as they should, healthy, by paying us attention on those functioning, by not overburdening them by just focusing on the ego or the mind. So the same applies in each individual's case. So I share those, and that's the part getting very interesting into this spiritual pursuit. You start to know, not in the organization, but in each of us, how we are constructed and how this transparency, the blockage may be gone, creating the transparency, so to speak, instead of the ego is prevailing, so that every cells work with each other. There's a sense of bliss, wonderful sensation. It's the awakening of the body and the heart connected to the mind. Less mind work, as much as less top management work in the organization, but more by the people in the organization, as much as more by all those functioning of the nature's way of how they are developed from DNA. Like I said, the heart and lung and the kidney and the intestines and the, every part of our body is built for a certain purpose, but because of the current burdensome turbulence, the technology change and the internet and all the things happening, they're bombarded. And no wonder people start to look for new jobs to find a destiny or change the location instead of big cities, but more into the nature. I call it melting into the nature. There's a natural sense that you feel like back into the Garden of Eden. and you see the clouds moving and the bird singing and flying, the branches changing, shifting, and hear the wind chime, the peace, like eternity in action, nature's way, melting into the nature. So we came from that Garden of Eden. So let's figure this out. As much as we do changes in the organization, let's see way forward for each individual. And I have posted various materials, presentation materials, and YouTube and stuff like that. It may not be easy, but with your interest, desire, willingness, determination, and the need to have less suffering and craziness that we may find in the world. Actually, to say a side note, why I'm talking about this, because I have to go through this preparation for the trip, and I'm making calls here and there to see what's the requirement, what time, where, and are they open? Can I be earlier because I have to catch the bus? And is this the right certificate? How much does it cost? Is this the place here or there? Did the government change the rule? Is the US situation different from the other countries? International from domestic? You have to know all of that. It's crazy. I know there's a way because I worked on cleaning up the process like that in a company so that they can be more like breathing well and connecting well and having fun and making a progress. Not everything is connected to each other. If one company progress, other company may fail. That's the nature's way. But overall, I'm wishing that we all understand the nature of what's going on in the world and be prepared so that depending upon what we have, our ability to contribute for ourselves, but for others, because we are linked to each other, so that we have a good balance, clarity, the energy flows, the nature's way, where we came from, so that the human way can accommodate the needs of the nature as much as we see what's going on in the climate change. Or you can just look at your stomach. They may have an ulcer develop because of this preparation for the trip at the old age. I'm 74 yesterday. I'm smiling. I don't know how I got here. I appreciate the fact that the journey was not so bad. I'm grateful. But as much as I shared the ideas when I moved from Japan to the US, writing books and videos, lecturing this and that, and I have gone through this awakening or the Zen practice, meditation, and research of this and that. As much as I did in the book, I have lots of information out there that I'm hoping that people may look into. It's not easy because everybody is different from its own construct because of the habitual patterns and the experience that have been gone through. But this is your life. As much as you have to find how to live and work and create a vision moving forward, I'm hoping that, like the book Results from the Heart, connection to the heart, use the brain not to be used by the brain, and live with a mission. That's doable. Let's work on it with perseverance and a smile on your face and enjoy the process. I say, why not? You need to have the will to get somewhere. That's the thing. And then I have prepared the materials that you can look at. That will guide you, inspire you. But the determination, the will, perseverance, going through continuous improvement process like a plan, do, check, act, or Shila Samadhi Panya, which is about the process of coming up with the wisdom. And by gaining the confidence and finding the way, like kids learning how to use the word and the tools, as an adult, the work continues. And there's a fun associated with it, the growth, the learning. And I'm very hopeful that we have, or I can share messages like this and create some group of people to share, exchange ideas, and have fun, help each other on the way moving forward. Thank you.